We're going to be making this gnome over. He's a Dollar Tree fella from the Crafter Decor, right? And we're going to be using printables from my print club, but also these printables are now on the Etsy page. So the links are down below. And this is the number for this bundle right here, okay? 0422456. So you will be able to grab these printables at Etsy, then head over to YouTube, watch the video. So we are going to be making over this guy here. I picked him up at the Dollar Tree the other day. Now he's a wizard, but he's not going to be a wizard when I'm done with him. And he's got a couple of little engraved stars, but I'm not really interested in that either. I just wanted the shape, and I'm going to use this side, okay? I could have flipped it over. Hello, Lori from Kentucky. I could have flipped it over, but I'm going to just use this side and show you what you can do with these things. All right, so first of all, I'm going to cut this off, because we don't really need the tag. And we're going to get started in a minute. We're just explaining what's going on here. So this is, the bundle is 0422456, spring bundle over on Etsy. There's a link below. You can see it. And you get this. Isn't this the sweetest thing? This is just a print and frame, okay? And you get this one, which is, I think is so cute. Like you can do it this way, you can do it this way, add a whole bunch of glitter to it. Wouldn't that be cute? And then you get this one. So this is the one I'm going to be using today. All right. However, I did in the print club pop a video in there to show you. So this is what this is the size they come when you get the printables, the downloads. Okay. They're made to print on an 8.5 by 10, and they always have this little edge, guys. There's nothing we can do about that. Nothing likes to print right to the edge unless you pay a printer. But that's okay, especially if you're framing it, because that gets covered up. So, or you just trim it off, whatever. And I've printed them on cardstock, but you can print them on paper. But I want to show you this one has actually been scaled down. This is on paper, okay? It's been scaled down to be smaller, so I don't have to use ink on all the paper sometimes. Now there's a video inside the print club for that. If you're buying this on Etsy, it doesn't have the video there. But if you're buying the print club, which is the monthly subscription, and you get a whole bunch of these, like 9 of these every month, plus a couple videos, plus all kinds of tips and tricks on how to use them. It's awesome. It's really awesome. But on Etsy, this is what you're looking for. 0422456. That's that 3 bundle. That 3-pack. 3-pack we'll call it. Triple pack? Tri-pack? I don't know. Anyhow, I'm going to show you what I'm thinking here. So we don't really need this. That was just to hold onto my paper. I want to paint this. I want to put his beard in. You've probably seen me paint the beard before. I'm going to paint some feet in. Paint his, I guess they're little pants. His nose. And then I'm going to put this on his hat. Okay, I want his hat to be buffalo plaid. So I don't want this star already. I know that, right? So I'm just grabbing, I know guys, like this thing's 25 years old probably. It could probably use a good scrub. And I'm going to just make it get underneath that and scrape it off. See what it does? It helps me too. Now that's still not flat. However, I'm not going to worry too much about it. You could spend time on it, but I'm sure you don't want to watch me sand it all down. But you just, I love the little corners on this thing. This is one of the best tools. It's a window scraper or some such thing from, I think I grabbed this at Home Depot. I use it for cleaning. Well, not this one, but I have another one that I have just for getting into little corners and tight spots when cleaning. All right. You know what? Let's see if I have some sandpaper here. I do not. All right. Anyway, I could sand this down. You may be able to see it. Let's see if you can see. It's a little, you can still feel it. Okay. However, not a big deal. Okay. So I want this on here, and I have to somehow measure it, right? So this is what I'm going to show you. What I figured I'm going to do. I printed this size because this hat is really only about that size, right? I don't need the whole sheet covered in ink. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to have to hold it up against the light so I can see. All right. And get it straight. So I'm facing the lights over there for me. It's behind it. So you can see this. You can sort of see the shadow. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see the shadow. so I can see where it's going to land, right? And get it where I'm happy with it. So let me see. This is just play around. I'm going to see if I can get. All right. All right. So I have it where I like it. Okay. I've used the light behind it, put it against a window, put it up against your monitor. And you can see where the hat's going to land, right? So it gives you a better idea where it's going to show up on here. This side up, I'm going to just take a credit card, an old gift card. One second here. Anything like this, honestly, I just use my finger most of the time, right? And I just trace along here. But I'm going to use this so you can see. You're just looking to get a really good I don't know if you can see it. I'll show you in a minute when it's done. I'm just trying to get it to a little bit fold over. See right there? Can you see it folding over there? I'm just using my fingers. Like, honestly, guys, I use my hands most of the time. It's very rare that I use tools when my fingers will do the trick. All right. So I'm just using my nails and I'm pushing with both fingers here, just kind of outlining, just go along that outline. Now, can you see? I can see the outline there. That is what I'm after, right? That's going to be where I'm going to cut. All right. So there we have it. You can see it's kind of indented. I don't know if you can see it better on the other side. Okay. It's indented and it will fit basically right in there. Now, these gnomes and most Dollar Trees things are not usually symmetrical. So don't flip it over and do it. Make sure that the side you want up is facing up, okay, when you do this. And then I'm going to just come on this side. I'm going to trim right along the outside. It's like a 1/16 of an inch. I'd rather have a little excess that I can always trim off later rather than not quite enough. But guys, it's not rocket science here. We are just having fun, right? So this is going to be his hat when we're done. So you see what I'm doing here? Just following along. I'm trying to stay on the outside of it. It may wrap around a bit for me. That would be awesome. But that's how I figure that's how I get the shape, especially since it's such an odd shape and I can't think of a better way to do it. To get a pattern, essentially. So I'm going to save this paper for something else. I may use it down here. I'm not sure yet. So, all right. So you see, we've got basically this hat is pretty near ready to go. See that? Like it's a good fit already. Okay. It may not be 1,000% perfect, but we don't do 1,000% perfect anyway. So I'm just going to push it down along the sides again. Now, if you want to, you can trim it, but I think I'm going to use the Mod Podge to fold it over, wrap it around. All right, so that's going to be his hat, but we're not going to use that right now. We're just going to set that to the side. Okay, so that's how we do the hat. That is our starting point, and now the rest is lots of painting. So I have my handy dandy wax paper to keep things neat and tidy. I have some white paint here. I'm just going to paint the whole thing white and then dry it. So let's chat while I paint. I'm doing the whole thing white, right? Because one of the things about working with color, and I'm ignoring the fact that there's grooves and that there's, that star sticking out. I'm ignoring all that. You can take your time and work it off if that's a problem for you, right? But I am totally fine with it. But what I was going to say is anything with color on it, whatever's underneath always affects what's on top. So if this is a dark color underneath, it will affect what's on top. Okay. I probably didn't need to do this, but that's okay. We're going to just do the whole thing in white. We'll start with a base coat. Okay. Now you can do the sides if they mean anything to you, but This is, again, you just do you, I'll do me. We will all be happy. Did you hear me rhyme there? All right. So like I said, this will be up on YouTube probably on Friday night. It'll be edited a bit more so that you don't have all the, not that you don't have all the chit chat, but that you don't, it won't take as long. Anything where I can cut the time out, like paint drying and stuff like that will be probably sped up a little bit for you just because you're smart enough to figure that out. So. Isn't that exciting watching me paint? All right, so I just got a base coat on there. I can paint over that with anything I want. Anything that goes over white is going to be brighter now. Plus, the wood loves to absorb a little bit of the paint, and it dulls it a bit if you paint on wood. You'll know that, right? So I'm going to give this a quick dry. So y'all know my YouTube channel, right? Farmhouse Craftaholics at YouTube. My Etsy store, however, is not Farmhouse Craftaholics because that was too long. Who knew there was too many letters for Etsy? So it is Crafter Downloads. Like I say, the links are at the bottom. One Crafter Downloads. And you can see the www.farmhouse. Everything's on my Farmhouse Craftaholics page. You check out that, you'll get all the links you need to all the things I do. Everything there is. All right, so we've got that done. Now I'm going to paint in here. I think I'm just going to paint in here. I'm not going to bother putting in buffalo plaid. It might be a little too matchy poo-poo for this poor little gnome, right? So I'm going to paint. I'm going to take a little bit of the teal I have. This is deep turquoise at the dollar store. Canadian dollar store in that case. So I'm going to just grab some deep turquoise, and that's going to be pretty close to this, right? I'm going to make his pants deep turquoise. It's kind of fun to paint on things that are 3D sometimes. Sometimes not as much. Right? All right. I need a towel. You all know I keep a towel, right? All right. And I'm going to paint his shoes down here in a second, and they'll be in black. So I always like to paint from light to dark because it's easier to go over something dark or light with dark paint, but it's much harder to go over something light. Hang on, I shouldn't be painting and talking. It's easier to go over something light with dark paint than it is to go over something dark with light paint. There we go. Colleen Cody, my goodness, girl. I was thinking about you the other day. How have you been? I was looking at some pictures. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? I was looking at some pictures of a painting party we did here in Ottawa one year. Remember that? The one you won. So I met Colleen. She won a prize, and she came to a painting party I was doing, and she turned in quite the artist after that. So I'm going to paint. He's going to get black shoes, right? So his shoes are going to be, I think, like this. See how I can cover over the turquoise with a darker color? Like I said, I like to paint from light to dark if I ever have the opportunity. Well, Oh, this is a cheap paintbrush. It's falling apart on me. You get what you pay for sometimes, Kim. I think this is probably a dollar store paintbrush. But I can make it work. All right. Here, we do not try for perfect. We try for really good because we want to have fun. We don't want to be stressed out by trying to make it some version of perfect that only exists in our own head. Yep, this is definitely a cheap paintbrush. It's falling apart on me. So away it goes. Enough of that. So here we have it. We painted his legs and his feet. All right. And now I'm going to take a little bit of the black and I'm going to mix a dark gray. Oh, we don't need that. And we're also, before I do that, I have one more thing. I want to mix up a pink, too much, but that's okay. With a touch of brown, I'm going for his nose, all right? Hopefully I'll pick a better paintbrush this time. So mostly pink, trying to develop a skin tone, and that can be any, the more pink, the more sort of Caucasian you're going to get. So since I'm Caucasian, we're going to go pretty pink. There we go. All right. So I'm going to paint this in. There we go. I'm going to dab a little white on there. Just blend it in some more. I love painting, like mixing colors, and especially right on the brush. It's just fun for me. So, okay, I may not be that pink in real life, but okay, what the heck, right? So there's his nose. All right. Can you all see that? And now I'm going to start on the beard, and basically that brush is too big, so we're going to go with this size, which is like a 1/4 inch. And I don't care if it's fully mixed or not mixed because this is going to be painted over. Now you may have seen me do this before. I'm going to go around that nose and see, this is why you paint light to dark. Just going, there we go. Close to the nose so that I can get back into the paint here. This whole, all his beard is going to be gray. Any version of gray. Striky, streaky, doesn't matter. I'm going to go all the way up on there. See what I'm saying? I do kind of want it all going in the same direction right now. May not matter in the end, but for now, I stop talking when I paint. Have you noticed that? So if I do a voiceover on the YouTube video, that's why. I'll just keep giving instructions. We're making stuff up. Right? All right. Now again, this doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to do another coat over top of it. Just all right, so here's what we have so far. Okay, painted wise, we have, that's basically done in a white. That's a pinky Caucasian-y color for me. You do whatever color works for you for the nose. Then the beard is gray, and then the pants kind of match the hat, which we've prepared. All right, and the shoes. All right, so next up, we're going to dry that a little bit. Move that out of the way. So, as I said, this will be up on YouTube probably on Friday, and then I'm just going to leave it up there with the link to the Etsy store or whatever store I'm selling this at that point. It can change, right? So, fortunately, I'm smart and I can make the changes. All right, so we have, might be a little, there we go. We have this going on, okay? I don't think we're going to need that for now. So now we're going to grab what's known as a, I like to call it a common brush, but it is actually a round brush, right? And there's different sizes. So let me see what I have here. I have two different sizes. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to go into the white here, and we're going to start building his beard, okay? So I want his mustache to go like this, all right? So I'm just going to get lots of paint on here. And from here, I'm going to do a bunch of short strokes. And then I don't want to cover all the gray, okay? And I want it to kind of curve down. We're hoping this will work. So then I'm going to see how I'm putting a ton of paint on there? And we're just making his whiskers do what we want. You might have to go in and touch up the pink again if you want. Can you see how he's getting a bit of the whiskers are? Now I think I actually am going to go to a smaller brush. So, and now we're just going to make these ones come straight down. Just follow along. And you don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to do, I mean, you just throw them in there, right? This is just his beard. All right, maybe it's that way. We want to put a mouth on him, we could. I'm not gonna. I just want the beard coming out there. It's a simple way to get the beard onto the gnome. I find this is the easiest way in the world to paint them, right? Because it looks really good. It looks like you knew what you were doing, which I didn't the first time. And it's like, it's easy as anything. Now he's got a wild hair beard. It's going everywhere, and I'm okay with that. But you don't want to cover all the gray. That was the reason we put the gray in, right? It just starts to give it a whole bunch of depth. You want to put a little mouth in there, you can totally do that. I might pop a little tiny black one in there after. All right, so now you can go to a smaller brush again. Get that out of the way so it doesn't get wet. Let me see, what else do I have here? One second, guys. I'm going to grab another brush from my stash. So now I've got a few, you can see they're all different sizes now. This is called a detail brush. It is like just a few hairs. These are also round brushes, even smaller than what I was using, right? So now if you want, you can go back into the gray and you can mix up a darker gray and you can just put in some low lights. See how that works? We're just gonna not be too picky. Oh, I think I got turquoise in there. So I kind of want to go along the bottom of this so we can see where his beard, his mustache was. Then I'm going to take this little tiny brush. Oh, wait, I think we need some. See, just follow the shapes, right? And if you think you've done too much, then head back into the white and just paint over. Okay, if you're like, oh, that's too much, you really can't go wrong with this kind of a paint job, honestly. It's super, super simple. So I need a tiny bit more black though. So I'm going to take this teensy weensy bit of black here and I'm going to put in a tiny, and I mean tiny, little mouth. All right, and then he's turning out pretty cute. Again, picked him up at the Dollar Tree, you guys. You guys go grab your own, right? You don't have to do this one exactly. You've seen the technique. This will work on anything. Oh, I want one or more of those. Gnome cutters. Yeah, if you're on a Gnome Frenzy, I saw they had a couple. They had this one. They had, forget what the other one was. I'm just going to, this is just, there we go. And if you want, I really want to make this more so they can see that he actually had a beard there. That might be good. All right, then just a few here. And then I think we'll take the little liner brush and we'll put a few little X's. Now you could do this with one of those, there, shoes have laces now. You could do this one of those paint markers. Okay. My painting skills. They leave a lot to be desired, but I enjoy them. There, and he's got laces on. So you can do whatever you like, right? This is your creation. So I think I'm happy with the paint job. All right. So we've got that done so far, right? Again, play around. I'm not happy with the paint job. You know what? Painting, the thing with painting is you could go on forever. If you want it thinner, grab some white. He needs some black going in the direction of the mustache. It's how our eye works is it follows the dark and the light, the contrast. That's what it really looks at. It's not really looking at the colors so much as how much contrast is there, and it kind of gives the eye an idea of what it's supposed to be looking for and looking at. So you just kind of want that beard to go in whatever direction you like. There we go. All right, I think that's good. I think I'm going to paint that, or I'm going to dry that. We're going to call that good. Okay. There's a loose hair on there. I can see it. All right. So now we're going to get back to this guy again. See what we're going to do here? See why we cut it out first? Isn't he going to be cute? Oh my gosh. I love how it's turning out. All right. So now we have, you know what it is, Mod Podge. But I am experimenting with this stuff as well, guys. Picked it up at Home Depot, 3M Super 77 multi-purpose adhesive. I am experimenting with that because the enemy of Mod Podge, or sorry, the enemy of paper is water, right? And I want, hang on, I want a good solid coat. So we're just going to pour some on there. Without getting my paper too wet, because that's what causes the bubbling and the wrinkling is the paper gets quite wet. And it likes to, it's almost like it's, almost like, it does. It gets wet and then it's like when your laundry's wet, right? It just, like a wet woolen sweater. It uncontrollable. I'm trying to think of the word, but it just, a wet woolen sweater, it's not shapely, like you have to reshape it. So when you do this, okay, it's the paper gets wet and it gets loose, let's say, like just there's a word I'm looking for and I cannot think of it. It's not coming to me right now. I'm going to also do along the sides because I did leave that excess, so we'll see if that's going to help. Okay, now I like to do this so that I'm not rubbing the paper. This has been printed on an inkjet, which means that if it gets wet, it can, the ink can start to move again. So we don't want that, right? We don't. We want it to be, there we go. So I don't like to rub too much. So I like to just put this down as a safety barrier, right? And then I can be a little more aggressive. It gets soft. That's the word I'm looking for. The paper gets soft and it likes to bubble and wrinkle and do all those fun things that drive you crazy when you're Mod Podging. Now, oh, this is going to be cute. All right, I'm going to. So this helps when I put the plastic on it. It just lets me be a little more aggressive with it. Now, it's not super perfect, okay? I can see that I need gently, or if you have a brayer, even better. But because it's soft, if you're not careful, you're going to rip it. That's especially true if you're using napkin, but any paper, okay? Now, you do have to let this dry, right, before, and the thing is, I can see a couple wrinkles and some bubbles, right, a little bit, but once it dries, it will shrink again, basically, okay? And once that happens, the bubbles tend to disappear, which is why they say wait until you put that final coat on, right? Don't Mod Podge the sealant coat over it right just yet. And if you have a heat gun, you can see it happen right in front of you. All right, so I'm gonna push that down, just like that. I believe we may be done. I might need to add a little more to here. Let's get a little brush and some Mod Podge. But like I said, I'm experimenting with the spray adhesive too, because that might just be the answer for not having too much water. Ha! Isn't he cute? for $1.25 plus your printables. All right. So there we go, guys. I thought it turned out really well. You don't have to paint all that, right? Which is, you know, that would be a pain to paint all that. The other thing I thought we could do, but I'm not going to do today, is you could maybe add some flowers along here if you want to make this a little more spring-like. You could add whatever you want along the edge. I just thought we'd give this a shot, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So for $1 wooden gnome from the Dollar Tree, I think he turned out darn cute. And like I said, you can pick up the printables, which are these three, right? Over on the Etsy store now, they're in there now, and it's 042245 is what you're looking for in the Etsy store. And it's this trio that you get, right? They print out like this, but you can also print them smaller. And then this is what did that, right? So when you scale it down on your printer, it does actually get smaller squares. See that? So anyhow, I think you turned it pretty darn cute. I'm really happy. So let's clean up the area for the photo shoot, right? Make it look, and these are all color coordinated too, right? So that they all match color-wise. Put him. Aww. How cute. Wouldn't it look cute with some flowers on them? You know, pick a few of these colors and then just put some flowers along there. I think that'd be so stinking cute. So you will see this if you want this video, if you save the video or head over to YouTube on Friday, grab the video, grab the printables, grab your gnome from the Dollar Tree, right? And there you go. All right. Grab your gnome from the Dollar Tree and follow along and make your own. And the more you make of these, the better you're going to get and the more creative you're going to get. You could have a whole pile of gnomes before you know it. So, all right, guys, that is it for me today. I thought I'd just pop on here and do a little creating for you. And now I'm just trying to make it look pretty so I can take a screenshot later.